Hey everyone, it's Andrew here from Canhammer, and today I'm going to be bringing you, I guess, my after Adepticon vlog. I'm just going to go over sort of my experiences at Adepticon and how well I did at the Battle for the Cowl. So, this is my second year going to Adepticon, an event that for the longest time I always wanted to go to, I just never did. So I'm glad I was able to go back again this year, even though last year was my first time going. I only took part in one event this year. We were there for 2 days, like actually at the con, and then 2 days of travel. So yeah, I only took part in the Batman event, and then the second day I sort of just hung out and got to see all the sites and check out like the vendor hall and stuff like that. Now it was run by Ken Horton and his crew of like volunteers and stuff who help him, you know, man the computers and set up terrain and all that. And I gotta give a huge props to him. He put on another just amazing event. All the tables look amazing. I will try to intersperse some pictures. Just note that if you look at the pictures and you see like the tables are like kind of bare, it actually wasn't like that for the event. It was just that when I took those pictures, Ken was still setting up the tables. So there actually was like a ton of scatter on them, but right, like you'll see in the pictures it looks like just buildings. It actually wasn't like that actually playing the game. So just keep that in mind. The tables were amazing, full of like really well painted terrain, most of it by like I guess sort of like the big companies that you'd expect for Batman miniatures. So like TT Combat, Knights of Dice, and Multiverse. Those are sort of like the big three, with a bunch of other stuff sort of mixed in. So again, amazing table setups. This year we were actually moved to a bigger room. So last year we were sort of like in the back, upstairs, like far back where like all the, I guess like the leftover games go, like not the big ones. This year, I guess because we had like a higher amount of people playing in the event, we were moved to the room that Age of Sigmar had last year. So it was more central. It was not the main halls where like 40K was, but it was basically right there. So it was nice to be like back down to where like most of the action is at Adepticon. So even between rounds I was able to like go out and check out things because we did have time there. So that was fun. It was a 4-round event, 350 rep. You guys saw my, if you watched the last vlog I did, you'd see that what my list was. Some of the overall things I noticed was there wasn't as much magic as I guess we were planning, like the Canadian crew that went down. We expected a whole lot more, and it just wasn't there. So, I mean, there was a lot of magic, but it wasn't like everyone took it, which is sort of what we planned for. Yeah, it was also, there wasn't like one crew like overly represented too, so it was nice to see that like everyone sort of brought a little bit of everything. New stuff being like everything post second ed, and old stuff as well. So it was a pretty good like spread of crews and things like that. So first round, so I'm recording this like a week late. I'm trying to remember some things. We played Asphalt Jungle. Played against a guy named Nick. He had a really solid penguin crew led by Emperor Penguin, and he had I think the assault rifle guy, Professor Pig, which was huge for that crew, and then a few more like bruisers and beaters. It was pretty solid, and because we had like I had Gordon and stuff, so he knew like really well to charge into the middle and sort of keep me there, and that way he'd be safe from like Gordon's shenanigans with the heliport and hidden sniper. And I got kind of cocky this one, so this one I actually lost. I got 16 points to his 31. And I kind of was, like, I saw a Penguin crew, and I've never really played against Emperor Penguin. Like, I knew he's like a beater, so I was like, oh, okay, whatever, like, I can deal with that. And I just sort of rushed my whole crew up in his face, and it ended up going horribly for me. Pig and his Dolatrons walked in, and then Penguin Emperor Penguin, who's kind of really good in close combat, just started knocking people out. And then he had Pig walk through like everyone was knocked out and just essentially arrest them. I forget what his ability's called, but take them away for experiments. So it was pretty gross. I think I did take out Pig in the end, although Emperor Penguin made his way through my crew, and unfortunately lost Constantine in that fight too. Yeah, and that was just totally me playing bad. Like I said earlier, I just kind of rushed up the center of the board thinking like whatever, my guns are going to carry the day, and I sort of flubbed a few big rolls, and then when his stuff hit my line, I kind of wasn't prepared for it, and yeah, he knew what he was doing. Like every model in his crew had like a job and did it really well, and he was just totally on his game, whereas me, I was sort of not in the right headspace, I don't think. But yeah, props to him. Like I don't want to take anything away from his win. He played his game super solid, and you know, we were chatting a bit like outside in the smoking area, and he's a really solid dude, so it was really fun to play against Nick and see a different way of a Penguin crew being run, because most people just run like the original Arkham, I think City Penguin, the top hat guy, and just bring like as many guns and free agents as he can. This crew was like really focused on being like a close combat centric fighting crew, with Pig playing a huge role in taking out a lot of the people that get knocked out, and he just played it perfectly. It was awesome. So yeah, that was that. I lost. I got a minor loss, so I got 2 points out of that match, but he got his full 5. After that, I played a dude named Chris. He had an Ivy crew, well, Gotham City Sirens crew, and then a bunch of the Black Gators. I think he had like, shit, I wish I could remember this better. He had like 4 or 5 of the Black Gators, the main one being high security henchman with his stupid knives and shit. This one we were playing looting, and our table on this one was a little bit more open, sort of like 2 roads down the side and then like a big area in the middle with like the road part in the middle. So it was really open, and looting is the one where all the objectives go in sort of like 2 central bands in the middle of the board. And this one again, I was sort of not playing too smart. Gordon got off a couple like cheeky good shots on one of his, I think it was the Black Gator with the carbine. He got a couple good shots on him, but didn't put him down, and instead of focusing fire on him like in future rounds, I just kind of like left them alive, because I was like, oh well, I already got damage on him, but I didn't actually take him out. And I kind of did that the whole match, not, I guess, like following through on taking out enemies, and he was doing the exact opposite and was just like wrecking my shit. So I lost a bunch of my guys. I believe in the end, high security took out John Constantine again, so he isn't invincible. I know a lot of people on the internet think like Constantine's sort of like a broken model and unbeatable. If you play him stupid like I did, you still can lose the model, so I guess be careful with that. Yeah, but either like, just like my first game, this Chris was a super solid player. Really chill, like while we were playing the game, like wasn't like uptight or anything, although none of my opponents really were. And yeah, it was just a good fun game. This one he rocked me though, like I said, so he got 52 points to my 28, so that was a major loss for me. I got 0 points that match, and he got 5. And yeah, that was that match. I think I voted for him as like my favorite opponent. You're supposed to like rank for sportsmanship, you like your favorite matches, and even though I lost this one, like we played like a super tight game. I think we ended like 45 minutes earlier than like everything. We just, you know, we were all on point, not a lot of talking, and it was just like a really solid fun game. And, you know, I hope I wasn't a dick about it. I lost my stuff, so like I lost my crew, so I might not have been too happy, but he was super chill and nice, so I can't like I can't knock any of my opponents really. But yeah, it was a good game. He actually ended up winning Best Sport and Best Painted Crew. I think I have a picture of his crew, but it's sort of like all when it was just like on his pile of stuff. So I'll put it up if I have a good picture, although it might not be. So you'll see it right now as I'm talking if I actually got that. So after that, we had our lunch break, and then we went into the third round, which was secure the area. So that was the four-corner deployment. I played a guy named Lou, and he had a pretty sweet Bane crew. So it was basically the new Bane starter with then a few of the older mercenary guys. Dallas was there with the night vision, obviously. Now, because we split our crews, I sort of put like all my throwaway guys in one corner, and then like all my main killy guys in the other. So in my main killy corner, I had like Gordon, Constantine, QRT3, and Larita, and then everyone else was sort of in the opposite corner. And I was really hoping that he would send Bane after like Gordon and Constantine, and he did. So for like, I just stayed in that deployment and waited for Bane to rush across the board, which took him like 2 or 3 turns. Well, I guess to cut the story short, he didn't make it because Gordon was just like rocking him with both the hidden sniper and the heliport as he was running up that side of the board. And then John Constantine, once Bane got close enough, started throwing like fire magic and stuff on him, which I really found out is awesome is fire magic, because burn counters are really nasty if they're not dealt with right away. And I think in the end that's what took out Bane, if I remember correctly. This one was pretty weird. He only sent like one guy into his to go grab his objective in the center zone, whereas I sort of pushed my whole like my remainders crew up into the center as well to deal with that. So it was a pretty rough game for Liu. I think I killed almost everything, and I won this one. It was 27 points for me to his 9, so I got a 5-0 out of that. But again, like a super chill guy, amazingly painted army, and I really like seeing Bane crews on the board. You know, I came into one of my own before Christmas there. I've been trying it out. I'm not too good with it yet, but I love seeing like different ways to play Bane. And Big Bane is super scary. He just, unfortunately in this match, I think he was kind of fucked over with like the terrain placement, and then Gordon sort of shooting up, because I should have mentioned this earlier. So the 4-corner deployment was for this one, but every corner had like wide open lanes to see each other. Like most of the terrain was centered in the middle, so this kind of hurt him there. Like there was like scatter and stuff in the way, but because Bane's a huge model anyways, he's not benefiting from any sort of pings from when like Larita started rocking shots into him and stuff like that. So it kind of hurt him there. But yeah, another solid game, and just a fun time. So with that, getting a little bit of my confidence back that I wasn't just totally going to get stomped this tournament, we played Race for Glory, and I played a guy named James who had a really cool Arkham Knight led Joker crew that had Willshot, Slipknot, and then like a bunch of the clowns like Punker and not Master of Ceremonies, but the other guy with the chain, like a bunch of clowns just as like throwaway stuff. Now we played on table 1 for this, and it was the Arkham Asylum, and it was really hard to set up, because I'll show you a picture like right now of the table setup, and as you can see, playing Race for Glory on this table, we had to pick sort of like what side of the fence and building we wanted to like rush to. So we ended up picking the objective zones to be right behind Arkham Asylum. The picture doesn't show up, but there's actually like a big gap behind like an alleyway. So that's where we set up our objectives, like all piled up together. And then we put one sewer back there. So basically, like for the first like 3 or 4 turns, I rushed all my SWAT team up around the bottom half of the wall, like the fencing, and then around the back because they have movement 3, and Gordon was sort of buffing them with Inspire to get extra movement so they can just rush to my objectives, and everyone else jumped in the sewer like one at a time. So we'd send, like, I'd send a guy through, he'd send a guy through, we'd come up at the same sewer. The round following that, they'd fight over it. Whoever was knocked out would walk away to the objectives, and then our next 2 guys would pop up. So it was like this weird, like, fight over the sewers to try to get to our objective area in the back while my SWAT team ran around the edge. I sent Constantine through the sewer, and so at that point, he was sort of a powerhouse just with his magic, and then having like the brass knuckles and the lighter, he just started burning guys like crazy. So it worked out in my favor, but it was like a brutal first 3 turns of just like fighting over the sewer, and it was kind of like funny and thematic at the same time, like this weird like clown and police fight around Arkham Asylum. I believe in this one I lost Gordon, or came really close to it. He had rushed Deadshot at my crew, and I kind of left Gordon alone in my deployment area because he had basically clear line of sight to most of the like front of the asylum just because it was all fences and stuff. So he was able to drop like his light template and then shoot the guy with the hidden sniper. So I didn't want to move him too much because I felt he would be safe. But James did like this weird mad dash with Deadshot right at Gordon and did the bullet time thing on him. And I don't know why, but he chose not to use the machine gun. He used the hand cannon and then his pistol or whatever he has. So it almost killed Gordon, but then he didn't press like I did in my first 2 games where I wasn't pushing like the kills on stuff. He sort of just gave up after Gordon lived. But I guess he felt he had better targets to go after. So that game, just super bloody, like we were knocking each other around the whole time, but it came out in my favor again. So this time I got 39 points to his 15, so another major victory. At the end of the day, I came in 14th overall out of I think it was 36 people. Originally, Ken had 42 people signed up, but unfortunately there were some weather problems that prevented people from making it to Chicago. So I think it ended up being like 36 after all the drops and stuff. Still really awesome to see that many people playing Batman in one place. And I think at this point, the Adepticon Batman tournament's like the biggest one that's ever happened. So really awesome to see, and just really satisfying to playing on all these super nice tables. That was mostly the tournament. Big shout out to Ken, or not Ken, well Ken as well, for running the event, but Carl, who you've seen on the channel, is one of our local guys. He won first place again 2 years in a row now, so he won this year again, and he won last year when we went down, so big props to him. He's a solid player here, and he knows his shit, so it was nice seeing him, I guess, test his mettle against people he hasn't played before, and he came out, he did really well, so props to him. Same for BJ, who you've seen on this channel. He actually ended up taking 3rd place with a pretty nasty all-magic crew. I think it was like 5 models. It was like Gordon, Zatanna, not Jason Blood. So maybe it was just two magic guys. His like main crew was like Gordon, Zatanna, and Constantine, and then like I think just a couple mooks or something. But he came in 3rd, and he just played super well as well, which is really awesome. So hats off to those guys. I'd like to give a shout out to all like my opponents I played. All amazing games. I'd love to play y'all again if we ever meet up somehow. Oh, that sounds kind of weird and creepy. But yeah, it was all a good time. So that was that day, and then we went out for dinner and blah blah blah. The second day, it was I guess more of a shopping day, so we all checked some things out. I ended up picking up, buying into a game called Free Blades. I'm just looking at my models now that I'm trying to work on and paint. Looks like this weird combination of like D&D and wartime. sort of like a skirmish game, but also has like a really robust like campaign system where your crews can level up and things like that. So it'll be cool to start playing that. Other than that, I was able to get in a few pickup games. I played against a Bane crew. Unfortunately, I can't remember the guy's name, and if you're watching this, I'm really sorry. Just leave your name in the comments below. It was actually his, what was it? His, not honeymoon, but like bachelor party to come to Adepticon. Like, I guess a bunch of his friends helped pay for his tickets and brought him up to Adepticon for the tournament. We didn't actually face each other in the tournament, but he was around the second day, so we got in a pickup game on the tables because DCU had a tournament that day, but they weren't using all the tables, so we were able to get in some pickup games. He had a pretty cool Bane crew, which was pretty fun. And, or not Bane, I ran Bane. He had a Two-Face crew that was disgusting. It was like all the fire stuff. So it was, I'm just looking it up. Yeah, it was the flamethrower guy, heat wave. There was another fire making guy. Maybe it was the Molotov guy from Two-Face. And then just a bunch of other guys. And holy shit, I kind of want to run that crew. Again, like, this tournament really made me appreciate how powerful having like a lot of fire causing effects in your crew can be. It's really devastating, and it also takes away from like your opponent's ability to use movement counters and stuff, because either they have to spend the movement counters to get rid of the fire, or they're just gonna burn to death. So it really gives them like a hard choice to make, and like just making a whole crew with just like fire dealing models, I kind of want to try that just to see like how well it will do. I'm thinking like flamethrower guy from Two-Face, heat wave, even throw in like Firefly, and then like the Molotov dude, and just everyone else sort of be like defensive base and just shoot out as much fire as they can. I think that'd be like a fun crew to play and really scary. Like, I know playing against it, I think by like turn 3 or 4 he had roasted most of my Bane crew, and it was just nasty. After that though, I got in another game with a local guy who I met last year at Adepticon. He didn't play this year in the tournament, but we were able to get a quick game in. Jason, shout out to him. He had a pretty cool Batwoman led Brave and the Bold crew, and we played sort of like a smaller points game, but it was pretty solid, and it was good getting in the game as well against him. Other than that, we just sort of took it easy, played some Rumble Slam, which is a game we picked up last year, I think, at the tournament, and just did a bunch of shopping. Again, had a super amazing time at Adepticon, and I'm hoping to go again next year. And that's about it for my Adepticon experience. So if you like what you see, please leave a like and comment below. Also, if you like Batman models but don't like spending full price, check out the Multiverse Gaming webpage below and use the discount code CANHAMMER to get a 15% discount on all Games Workshop and Night Models products. If you want to see some more Batman content, or at least listen to it, check out the Boy Wonders podcast. They're a podcast out of Minnesota. They do sort of like monthly main podcasts, and then they have like a bunch of smaller podcasts going over more like focused topics. Really fun to listen to. They can be a little silly at times, but all those guys like know their shit really well, and put out a pretty fun show to listen to. So check them out. There's a link for their podcast down below. And as always, check us out on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram now. We're always posting shit up there, and if you want to see what we're all up to when we're not making videos, there's a bunch of cool pictures and miniatures and stuff like that. And finally, we do have a Patreon, although we're never going to hide any content behind a paywall. If you feel like supporting the channel in any way, we will appreciate it, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.